What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, and back for the first time with some Magne from Aha. And we're going to start going through his solo material, which I believe is stylized under the name Magne F, which saves me the embarrassment of mispronouncing his surname. But we're going to listen to his 2004 album, which is called Past Perfect Future Tense. I am actually an editor, and as an editor, you do study the sort of finer rules and sort of little quirks of grammar. And I can tell you, past perfect tense is the sort of tense that you use when you're referring to something that happened up to a point in the past and then stop. So it would be like, he was doing this for a while and now does this other thing. Whereas present perfect tense is, he has been doing this thing for many years, which leads you right up into the present. So it's like a type of tense that you use to cover a span of time rather than a particular time, like he once went to the store, which is simple past tense. But yeah, ultimately, I'm not quite sure how that might be relevant, but it makes me think about how you might apply that to someone's time on Earth, or with another person, or in relation to a phase of one's life, whether that's, coming of age, or like moving into sort of middle age, or whatever it might be. This is 2004, so I would imagine he, like the other guys in the group, are pushing their early 40s at this point. Let me know if I'm wrong with that estimation. Nevertheless, I am intrigued by how his solo music will sound. I had this sensation that, or a suspicion rather, that it might be more keyboard based than, let's say, Morton's solo material, which has a very folksy, down-to-earth kind of natural instrument feel. Not that there haven't been moments where it feels like there's a synth at work or whatever, but ultimately it has given me a kind of more down-to-earth, folksy vibe. So maybe this will be different from that. Maybe it'll be less guitar-driven and rock-heavy as the couple Savoy tunes I've heard, although even those haven't been identical to each other. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what to get here. I imagine after 1, 2, 3, or 4 tunes, it'll eventually get to the point where I'll get some of the flavor of what he's doing on this album at the very least, if not with his solo material overall. There is another album in the folder I have access to from 2008, so we'll get to that one eventually, but we'll go through this in order. So the first track on, what is it again, Past Perfect Future Tense, which again sort of takes the concepts that I was talking about and extends that indefinite time frame into the future. And so yeah, the first tune is Obsolete, which, it's a simple concept. It is a single word, and I mentioned before, even when there's a lot of meaning with that single word, it's tough to tell where it will go. I would say this is a perfect example, and that something that is obsolete is now no longer the best way to solve something, to perform something, to integrate something, but it may still have function, it may still have utility, it might have sentimental value. Just because something is obsolete in a sort of functional sense doesn't mean it doesn't have any inherent or intrinsic value, whether for one person or more generally. Sometimes things which are antiquated and out of date actually become collector's items and then eventually become seen as sort of representative of an earlier era, or that they characterize some artistic or cultural aesthetic. So something being obsolete is not necessarily the end of its story, and ultimately obsolete could relate to an artifact, yes, but it could relate to a phase of your life which now is no longer relevant, because maybe the people who characterized the inner workings of that phase are now not in your life, or have moved somewhere else and the relationship is long distance. There's so many different ways you can go with it, which again, I think it's a perfect example of single word titles, even those that suggest a whole lot of ideas, are a bit difficult to pin down. So let's just get to it. This is from 2004. It's Magne from Aha, stylized again as Magne F, and the album is Past Perfect Future Tense, and the first track is Obsolete. Oh, a bit more acoustic out of the gate than I might have thought. Strummy guitar. Ooh.
Cellars full of wine you can no longer drink. Your head is full of thoughts you don't allow yourself to think. The cupboard's full of canned fruit, vegetables and meat. Everything is damaged goods, like sour grapes gone sweet. The drawer's full of letters overdue day, waited for too
Bit of the
long.
scratch, I hear it.
You thought that saving memories was the things that made them strong, but obsolete, like the morning dew beneath your feet. They're obsolete, like the autumn leaves on the street.
Like that little roll.
The glass is bursting at the seams with clothes you do not wear. You need to get your life fixed, but a part of you don't care. You know everything's alright, but now it seems they're all wrong. You played so damn hard that it turned into a song. You saved it for a rainy day, you waited far too long. You thought that having memories was the things that made you strong, but the years are filling out with the chances you don't take. Your heart is pounding and you cannot stand the ache, 'cause you're obsolete, like the autumn leaves on the street. Obsolete, like the morning dew beneath your feet.
Little trumpet.
Your heart is pounding and you cannot stand the ache, 'cause you're obsolete, like the autumn leaves on the street. Obsolete, like the morning dew beneath your feet. Obsolete.
What a delightful opening tune. Yeah, I heard the lyrics pretty clearly. That's not always the case with Morton, so I don't know, perhaps it's, he's not sort of like pushing it to some of the heights that Morton does, which again, I know a number of you were amused when I reacted to, what was it, Minor Key Sonata? No, it was the Cozy Prisons, that's right, Cozy Prisons, where Mags was on the Vox and I didn't quite pick up on it, which again, part of it is, as I've gone through Aha, I just have this basic expectation that, whatever singing I may hear, the dominant voice on the track will likely be Morton, and I think part of it also is, as I've gone through some of his solo material, there's still more to go, of course, but I have heard him sing in some different ways, and it's kind of deeper and a bit scratchier here and there. So I think that is just, pushed me to the point where, like, I feel like, like that could be him, he might be singing a little outside his normal realm. So, yeah, but hopefully going through this album and the one after it, I will become much clearer in terms of the sound of the different voices. So, yeah, and again, it's still going to go through Savoy. I'm just trying to work my way through everything. More live Aha coming. Yeah, the Aha-related reactions are not slowing down, but instead seem to be multiplying. So, hopefully you're here for it. It does seem like a lot of people are. I did want to give a shout-out. It seemed like a lot of people were really keen to talk about the bandstand, which I get it. Like, the opening track of that album really blew my mind, and it seems like for a lot of people it's a really special track. So just did want to mention that before we go. But yeah, like I said, going to keep going through the Mags material, going to keep going through Morton's material, Savoy, and more Aha is what I'm saying. So hopefully you're here for it. Let me know what you think. I will see you next time. Peace.